1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Welcome to the final episode of the first season of Red Rising. Today we'll be discussing part 4 of Red Rising and the chaotic ending to the first book. From Darrow and Mustang's loved cave to their crusades across the Institute, we see Darrow growing into a devious little warlord. We'll discuss how his relationships are molding him, whether we believe he's making the right choices, and how he sets traps not just for the characters, but for the readers as well. So lace up your grav boots and sharpen your sling blades as we haul our way into Darrow's path of destruction. Per aspera ad astra. Pierce Brown, come onto our podcast. The following conversation contains major spoilers for Pierce Brown's Red Rising trilogy. The series also includes depictions of graphic violence, torture, slavery, sexual violence, and genocide. Listener discretion is advised.
Cold.
Regular day.
Regular day. Okay.
Actually, I'm pulling an audible here. I'm so sorry. We just discussed how we were going to open, but I just remembered that I made a spoiler for Nick at the end of the last episode, which will not be aired, so no one has to worry about that, except, unfortunately, we cannot redact that from Nick. So, as an apology, I am making a donation. I figured that was like a nice, if we spoil something, maybe we have to make a little donation to somewhere.
Ooh, I love that
Okay.
idea.
So I'm going to
I
be
like
doing
that.
that.
Whoa, I cannot afford.
Yeah.
I cannot
I
afford
waited
this.
till we clicked record so that I could get all of you to say yes in a public
I'm going to mark
function.
this.
Right? Like nobody can say no now. But no, I think that's a great idea.
Anyway,
yeah, no,
I will
fuck
be
'em.
making a donation to a local what is it called? A local garden,
Soup
a community
kitchen.
garden.
Oh,
That
Oh,
has
cute.
recently
Excellent.
opened up. Very cute. Very like involved in the community. They've got summer programs coming up, and Lord knows I'm not going to volunteer because I hate gardening, but I will send a monetary donation in honor of Nick and the spoil that I did.
Whoa.
Can you get them to
Aw.
plant a hemanthes in my name?
Ooh,
I'll
right?
I will ask.
That's a great
Okay,
idea.
so
But
sorry
before
to
we
kick us
actually
off like that.
dive in on that note, I did finish Iron Gold earlier this week.
Oh,
And
nice.
Said spoiler has
Oh,
not
yeah.
come up yet.
Oh.
Watch Nick just spoil the whole book.
Yeah, right.
Everything we talked about.
Yeah, I'm excited
Yeah.
to read Iron Gold. It should be nice to reread it because this would be a first
Mhm.
reread for me for that.
Taking a small break. Okay, Sam and I had this discussion when she was on the phone with Alex earlier this week. Um, I don't think it's a spoiler to say that I think Dark Age is going to be hard, especially because I haven't read it yet, right?
And it's titled Dark Ages.
It's titled
And
Dark Age.
I have a theory that the second book in a trilogy is always the most painful.
Because
Oh.
that's when like the
You better
macro
buckle up,
plot
'cause,
dips.
Book 6 is also kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
that it was. I
They're
guess
so
that also
hard.
comes from this. It was originally going to be a trilogy, and now it's going into 4, so maybe
Right.
5. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm taking a little mini break to prep myself, even though I wanted to dive right in. I was like, oh no, I'm not ready to be hurt yet.
It is a thick book. I
Yeah,
won't
that too.
lie, so yeah.
We appreciate that, though. I think
Yeah.
we prefer a thickie.
I do. I do.
I'm a novella girl. Like,
Yeah, like a
give
novella.
it to me.
No, I
in
want a
small-
45-hour audiobook.
I want a thick book that has a definitive ending without a cliffhanger, so that I can do a couple mini books and I don't
Ugh.
have to dive right into another thick book.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I like Way of Kings. I think Way of Kings is a thick book without a cliffhanger.
it's just a straight
Did
book.
it have no? There were no. Well,
I mean, there are some things that
Yeah,
are
no,
left
that's a good
on,
point.
but it's like
Right,
it's a
but-
complete
Well, wait a
story.
sec. I mean, to bring
Yep.
it back to Red Rising, the topic of this podcast.
Let's not.
Book 1 doesn't end on a
Yeah.
cliffhanger per se.
But I
Yeah.
would say book 1 isn't thick.
that's true.
I feel like you need over I would say
Yeah.
over 700 pages is thick.
Oof.
Woof.
Yeah, woof.
That is, yeah.
Sheesh.
Okay.
All right.
Welcome
right.
to the Red Rising podcast. I am Liz, and with me are. Why am I saying it like it's a debate?
This is
But
good.
with me are Sam,
That's me.
Craig, Norman, and Nick.
So there's 5 people in the room.
Craig has an
It
alter
is-
ego.
it's confusing.
Yeah, who knows? Will we get Craig? Will we get Norman? We'll find out.
Craig, when you
Yeah.
decided to go by Norman in your early professional life, is that correct? After college, you decided
After
to go by
teaching.
Norman. After
No, it's
teaching.
even weirder than that. After teaching,
Okay.
I was
Did
like,
you
I'm
know
gonna
it
be a
was going to
Norman.
have such ramifications on the future
No,
podcast? you were
honestly,
gonna
I thought
host?
that I thought that I could keep church and state separate. You know, like
Ah.
personal life, I'm Craig. Work life, you know, the Hyde part of me
It's Norman.
would be Norman. But
Then you
it's-
had your
it's
own
been
version of the Heritage
entirely
Foundation.
unsuccessful. Yeah, and it's complicated by Sam and I work together, and so she
Yep.
knew me as Norman. Anyway, it's
Cross
all very
boundaries.
Wait.
confusing. Yeah,
So if I can ask, where did Craig come from?
Craig's my middle name.
Okay, so first
Um,
middle.
Yeah, and my brother and I both go by our historically have gone by our middle names.
Oh, interesting.
Did your
I like
brother do
that.
a switcheroo?
Yeah.
His email uses his first name, and I think he might go by Henry at work. I don't know.
It's nice to have options.
Yeah.
Are you a
Yeah.
one name person, Sam?
No, but my middle name is Marie. Everyone's middle name is Marie. Like, it just
Yeah.
never stuck.
Yeah.
The name for me. So, yeah, I don't.
Yeah, well, we've got Norman, Craig, Sam Marie, Nick. What's your middle name?
Robert. Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
avoid
Robert.
that.
I like
Nick-
Robert for you.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Liz,
Bob.
what about you?
Yeah, call me Nick Bob.
Oh, my name is very complicated as a Nigerian, right? So really, it's like Obuaku Elizabeth Ifeanyiwa Okeke. That's like
Beautiful
the
name.
full name.
God, it is.
Yeah.
But you know the funny thing though, when I became a citizen and I was like switching my name because I usually just like even since like when I was a wee thing, I always went by Liz. And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna like switch Liz and Obuaku. And then I forgot like my third middle name. It just kind of dropped off because I thought it would automatically like merge. No, it did not.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But
Ugh.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
it's
Should we
beautiful.
get into
It's unique. You're lucky. I've met,
Thank
like,
ya.
I've literally met in person other Samantha Maries.
Oh.
It's, yeah, very common.
I feel like Marie is solidly our generation's.
Every
Yeah.
white girl's
Yeah.
middle name is Marie, Anne,
Mhm.
or Elizabeth, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is an easy like middle name. And it passes what those schoolyard tests. Yeah.
Can't make
Your
fun of it.
parents are just
Yeah.
looking
Yeah, a
out
story
for
for
you.
another time. When I first read Red Rising through all the way, actually, still, I love the name Severo. I was like, I'm naming my firstborn Severo. My
Okay,
sister is
there we
like,
go.
you can't because it's like all the kids now that are named like Arya. Once the TV show comes
Oh.
out, it's gonna be like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
but
named-
I love the name Severo.
Well,
Severo
you
isn't
can
a-
beat it by having a kid before the TV show comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I don't know if I
Better
can-
hustle.
I mean, I think you just got to make sure Red God comes out and Severo doesn't go crazy at the sound of bells and
Well,
start
that was
killing
the other
everyone for
thing.
no good reason.
That was the other thing my sister said is like, wait till the series is over.
Yeah. And then I think you're
And
probably
actually, you don't
fair
even
game.
have to. She's like, with
Yeah.
Severo, like he's done enough weird, freaky shit that like
Yeah.
I don't think you want to name your kid that. But I'm like, but ultimately
Disagree.
he's
Hard
good.
disagree.
I don't know, but
want...
it's just his epicness, you know, it adds to it.
All right, already we're gonna have to break this into 2 parts because we haven't
Yeah.
started talking
No,
about
we're
part
gonna
4
be
yet.
totally fine.
No, okay.
All right. We learned from episode,
Last.
I don't know what, last, that we need to, for the summaries, we need to take notes. So that's what we have done. So
Yes.
this is the summary of part 4 of Red Rising. And so we pick up end of part 3, Cassius stabs Darrow with the iron blade off so that there is no cauterization. Darrow is lying in the mud, literally, kind of as low metaphorically as we can get. And he is saved for an unknown reason by Mustang, who, we all remember, he let go when Tactus was trying to chase her down. They then form this weird relationship as they... This is the
Editorializing.
oddest... Yeah, this is the oddest part of the book to me. We can come back to it after
I
the
love it.
summary, where they have an uneasy alliance. And they start, he's sick, she's nursing him back to health. And then we have this moment where she becomes sick. They bond over the song that EO sings. What's that song called?
The Reaper.
The Reaper?
Yeah. The reaping
Reaper? Is
song.
that what
The reaping
oh.
song. I just love how once again Craig describes the part like odd, weird, and I'm like, you mean the romantic part?
Oh.
do you mean the like love story part of the book?
How
It
it
is
starts
romantic.
to build.
Yeah, gross.
It's such an odd
disgusting
thing.
part. no one dies.
Song of Persephone, yeah.
Song of Persephone.
I think
Yeah, Song of Persephone. Thank you. They both heal up. Then we have this moment where Fitchner finally appears after being in absentia and admits that the whole system is rigged. We learn that the rings are the things that are watching them, or maybe we learned that in the last part. And the proctors are going to favor the jackal because he is the son of Nero Al Augustus. Darrow then starts this quest in a sort of trend. He needs to change the
paradigm.
Paradigm.
coming in clutch. And so he and Mustang begin recruiting Oathbreakers, and instead of enslaving them, kind of offer them their freedom because clearly they don't want to be enslaved. He rebrands as the Reaper. They capture House Ceres, which is a really cool scene that we need to talk about. We get this odd moment where he's being chased. Darrow's being chased through the woods. He gets caught in a trap. Severo somehow returns. And they start using guerrilla tactics on the campaign. Darrow baits the jackal. We don't know it at the time, but he baits the jackal, exposes him, slams the knife through his hand. Pax dies. Darrow then escalates immediately, right? Uses this, and we see his rage. I think this is the moment, right, where we see his rage come out. Although he's put some planning into this because he's stolen Fitchner's grav boots. They take over Olympus. Great scene. We have the realization that Mustang is the brother of the jackal.
The sister.
Sorry,
that would be
sister.
a real
There we go.
The sister of the jackal.
Yeah.
We have this smushed into something like 10 pages. Darrow comes down like a god to Mars and rescues folks, goes back up to Olympus. Mustang appears with the jackal in tow, all bound up. Nero arrives and is like, you should be my son. You'll be my lancer. And Darrow does it. He like kneels and becomes the lancer of Nero Al Augustus, the guy who killed Io. So that is part 4.
End
A lot
scene.
happens. End scene.
Yeah.
You guys, we did it. We did the summary without interrupting, without
know.
diving into a specific part. We did it.
Wow.
We did it.
That's why I was like, you should do it, because mine, we would have gotten into bits of it because I was too
There's so much I was like,
There's a
we
lot.
need to talk about this and this.
Yeah. Oh, but I feel like we should also mention just like this is also where the blood feud starts
Mhm.
Mm.
prior to the
That's a
end
big
with
moment.
Cassius and Darrow. Yeah.
Yeah, that feels dramatic to me on Cassius's part. Like, he got
Yeah.
his revenge. He stabbed
mean,
Darrow.
Mm-hmm.
Cassius is nothing if not dramatic.
He is
Yeah.
very dramatic.
I just wonder if he just knew that that's, how his mother would react. So he was already just preemptively doing it.
Yeah, but his dad is so chill, which we learn in book 2. So anyway, we can't discuss it.
I don't
All right,
even remember
question,
his dad.
question for the group. Most interesting part of part 4. There's a lot that happens. What's your favorite part?
Most interesting or favorite. Those are
Yeah,
different.
those
Yeah,
are two
okay.
different.
All right, let's do favorite.
This is a group that's going to split hairs.
Yeah.
Between interesting and favorite.
Okay.
I mean,
Oh man.
anytime he talks to Fitchner, as I've said in the past, that's always like I'm doing a close read on that.
Every time they mentioned what's his name? Uncle Nero, I thought of you, Sam. Because he
Nero.
comes
Oh,
up a
I've
bunch.
I've written them all down, so we can do narrow watch later if you want. We can wrap.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Um,
need like
I
a thing that comes across the screen, like narrow
Right,
watch.
narrow.
Yeah.
So I've always thought my favorite part was the "I'm going to rip out your bloody damn heart."
Mm.
But
Mm.
after a discussion we had on our last episode, I think it's actually there's like a scene where they're all just kind of sitting around and Pax is telling stories from their childhood.
We're falling
And
in love with Pax.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We get like the peak Pax moment.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's in love with an obsidian woman.
Yeah.
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 What is her name?
She
I
has
can't remember.
massive thighs, and he's like waxing eloquent about how strong she is.
Still
So
no
sweet.
sex scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pierce.
Well, we're okay with that. I think upon re-listen to our earlier podcast, our very first episode, we came out strong. Like, where's the sex scene? And then it was like, oh yeah, they're 16. Like we
That's
don't
true.
need to
I-
forget
it is
right.
easy
That's
to
true. I
forget.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Hey
It's
now,
easy to
Darrow's
forget.
he's mature for his
Yeah.
age.
Yeah, it's easy to forget. But maybe we'll we'll talk about that in book 2. We'll
Yeah,
call for the sex scenes in book 2.
Yeah, yeah.
that makes sense.
Okay. So going back to Darrow lying in the mud,
Yeah,
because that's where we
he's in
start,
there.
right?
Yeah.
I feel like we were saying we wanted to expand upon the duel with Cassius a little bit more. But one thing I wanted to say, because you mentioned like the lowest point here, Darrow lying in the mud. I feel like this part 4 is essentially Paraspora at Astra, right? He starts lying in the mud at the start of part 4 and ends on Olympus. Like, come on. So I think this is this is definitely where the dam breaks for me, and this becomes such an amazing series as a whole. It just I think a lot of people look at Rising, say it's the weakest book, but like the weakest book of a
they're
great
wrong.
series.
Yeah.
Really, what do you think's the weakest book then?
Oh no, they're right. But it's so good. It's so I mean, like, you can't. I was thinking about this the other day, or
It's
maybe I
still
was sending
really
a voice memo to Liz about, like, maybe I was just having this internal monologue because I'm crazy. How good book 1 is.
Mhm.
And then it's kind of like our rating system. Like, we have
Yeah.
to rate it in comparison to how good it continues to get.
Yeah.
So you're right. I agree with you. I take back what I said.
But I mean, so this part I think is really just the I think I've said this like 5 times, but the curtain pulling back, and in a different way. And that's why I've said it like 5 times. Like when we first see Darrow coming up out of the ground, that's that first curtain coming back, and that's on the world building. And I think this is more the curtain coming back on the story we're about to see. Right? It's yeah, there's definitely this book is very much kids in school, right? And it follows some of those tropes, but I feel like in this point it goes off of those tropes quite a bit, and I love that.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, he does break the paradigm of the school, which I think is fun to read.
Mhm.
How like just surprised everybody is that he even thought to like do some of this stuff. But then at the end, we talked about how it was like a finished book.
Mhm.
And it is, but the cliffhangers that it does leave are more like, I don't know what could happen. Like it's
Mhm.
literally him saying like, I am
Yeah.
going into a world I know nothing about next. Like I couldn't even begin to dangle something juicy in front of you because it could be literally anything. I have no idea, which I think is just a fun way to end a book. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
true. That's where the next books go. They just expand so widely and wildly, like into something beyond just like a school book.
Yeah.
On page 315, do you have? I'm just kidding, Sam. Do you have the quote at the end of the book where Nero Augustus is saying he's surprised that Darrow is so sure of himself that these bonds that he's created are going to last outside of the Institute? And Darrow has a quote that's like, yeah, if you got it.
I don't because I listened to it, but I just opened to it. So I think I have
Oh,
it. Let's
okay,
hope.
great.
Wow.
If not, we can cut
Yeah.
it. So he's saying like Darrow is telling Nero, like, I changed things here. Not only do I maybe not need you, but like things are going to be different now. And Nero's like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
He's like, this school is not life, he recites to me. It's not life. Here you are a king. In life, there are no kings. There are many would be kings, but we peerless lay them low. Many before you have won this game, and those many now excel beyond this school. So do not act as though when you graduate, you will be king. You will have loyal subjects. You will not. You will need me. You will need a foundation, a supporter to help you rise. There can be none better for you than I. Is
What a
that kind of what
quote.
you were thinking? Okay.
Yeah. And then I think Darrow has a response. It's like, you're wrong. Like, this generation is going to be
He
different.
pushes.
Yeah, he does a
But
little
does
bit
it
of
not
pushback.
sound a little familiar? Have you not had that conversation with your parents? / also with
We're
people
gonna be
younger than you?
different. Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's 18 at this point, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
By
also
the end of the book, or 17?
it's like we
18,
want
killed a
it to
couple
be
guys.
true, but it's also age appropriate for him to be like
Right.
pushing back in this way. So it's like, like,
Yeah.
is this
But
gonna
the
work?
funny thing is, like, that's actually wrong, right? Because the whole time that Darrow's through, like, this institute, he's always, like, remembering the fact that, like, when they're in the real world, even though he doesn't know how it works, he's like, these people will be my opposers, right? Like, they will be my, what is it called? Enemies, basically. Yeah. Like, so he's like, even though, right, like, he can't show that in the way that he moves and things, but he is very cognizant of that they will turn on him once they know that he is red, or at least he thinks that they will.
I would love to talk about that more. As I
Yeah.
was reading this. Like, I remember the first read through with Mustang, with Severo, with Roke. Everyone else too, but like those three, you're kind of like, what are they gonna do when they find out? Like, are they gonna turn on him? Like, are they gonna go for it? You really want all of them to go for it. And I remember thinking, like, Roke particularly, like those three had about the same amount of chance of accepting him or not. It felt even. Now
On
that
first
I've read
read-through.
this,
Yeah.
on second read through,
Oh yeah,
I'm like, oh, Mustang and Severo already knew. Did you guys get that on your first read through? I felt like a dummy.
I didn't
No,
know that
I
was
don't think so.
Mustang.
Not
Severo.
no. I wouldn't say no. I would say like, well, like, maybe like that deep down
think
no
they know
where you don't
something's
know but you
amiss.
know,
But like
right?
Yeah,
he wants
Yeah.
bigger change than
Mhm.
just
Well, and I don't think that they know, like, oh, he's a red that turned into a gold. But I
Mhm.
think that,
Sever
like,
finds out.
yeah, well, several. Does you think? I think
He
that they both
edits.
know
He
something's
edits
very
the end.
off.
Mhm.
Yeah. But would they be able to imagine what actually happened? Like, I'm not sure. But I think that their level of, like, I accept you for who you are happened in this book. And I was, like, waiting for it until he, like, bared his soul to them. But, like, I think it happened just now. And that was, like, interesting to me. Like, Severo clearly did it. He's like, I'm with you no matter what, bro. And he, like, made that clear. But if we're to believe Mustang is as smart as, the book tells us she is,
She's a genius.
she knows
Yeah.
something's up and she's on his side. And so there's really nothing to fear as it relates to those two. I just thought it was interesting. That's all.
I mean,
That's true.
he sings the song of Persephone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And
Like, do we
she-
think she didn't hear that? Or didn't
Right.
think that was weird that he knew all the words
And
to every
how many
verse?
times
I don't-
does Pierce tell us
yeah.
how smart she is? Like literally
Exactly.
says she's so smart, and it's like, okay, she had to be somewhere in there. Maybe it wasn't at the forefront of her brain, but it was in
Yeah.
there. I think you're right.
Like in his subconscious.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did not pick up that like I felt that Mustang knew, right? Because she asks him about like his motives. She's like, you're not just fighting to fight, like, right? So I feel like she was aware that there was something more he was fighting for, even though he wouldn't say it. But I didn't pick up that like she would have followed him no matter what. Severo,
there's
I
still
did
some
get that.
uncertainty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Severo, I did get that from him. And then when he edited the footage and heard Gary Dam, I'm sure he knew and was like, oh, it was scrambled. And so we didn't get the footage. But like he did it to protect Darrow. And so that
Yeah.
was like,
Totally.
okay, confirmation that like Severo is here. And we later find out why, right? Like his coloring, all of that. But yeah, I did not actually pick up on the Mustang bit. Yeah. I
There's
will say, sorry, no, carry on.
no. What would you say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, for some reason, when I first like read and listened, I thought that Jackal was bigger than he was. Like, I mean, he is
Oh.
big,
Like
but on
physically
this,
intimidating.
yeah, and just like doing more. But I'm like, oh wait, he hid the whole time while he like had his army go fight, and like
Yeah.
he wasn't as instrumental as I thought that he was.
There's that great quote where they meet, Darrow and the Jackal meet, and then the knife is slammed down into the Jackal's hand, and the Jackal's like, "You have a better name than I do." You know, like I wish that I were not stuck with the Jackal. But he's very much that character, like small, physically in the
Jackal.
dark. Yeah, doing
Scrappy, I guess.
scrappy, weird things.
I mean, we've not mentioned that he sawed his own hand off. I feel like it's just worth a mention.
Yes.
We
That
don't have to
was
discuss it, but I just
insanity.
I mean,
there.
I guess this is no time like the present to dive into that scene, right?
Yeah.
Because I also love, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but Darrow stabs him in the hand while he's still acting like he's not the Jackal, right? Doesn't he try to act like he's just some random dude in this
He's
army? And
Lucius
Yeah.
or something.
He's pretending
Yeah.
he's. Is it? No, he is
Lucian.
Pluto, right?
and he's pretending
Yes.
he's Apollo
Jupiter.
or Jupiter. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, and Darrow's got a
then-
bag of rings, and he's like,
Right.
no Pluto rings. And then he stabs. And like,
Yeah.
I love, this is like, Pierce, back to your point, Sam, about how well Pierce can describe things.
When did I
Darrow,
make that point?
in
A
reference
couple
to
episodes.
episode
Oh,
one.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wow, I'm so
Pierce,
smart.
I think the quote from you on page was, if Pierce can describe a razor, battle, he
yeah,
can
yeah,
certainly
yeah. Why can't
describe
we
a
get
sex scene. This is the moment where Darrow slams the knife in and then uses
Yeah.
his hand to like hammer it 5 inches into the table.
Yeah.
Well, I blocked that from my memory. I just stabbed his hand.
Yeah.
Nope, he hammers it in.
Okay.
And that is the moment where that we get the revelation And then the scary part is that the jackal goes from panic to like dead calm in 3 seconds or something like that. And that frightens Darrow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fun when Darrow gets scared because then we get to kind of like get scared. And then
Right.
Pierce just describes how like the jackal's like, yeah, fuck it, I'll saw off my hand. Like, I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah.
you want to talk about like a different paradigm? Like, this does not
Darrow
matter to me.
highly underestimated him in that part, and like how far the Proctors will go to help. That
Mhm.
was poor Pax. That was extremely underestimated. But he was going off the information that he knew and what he thought. Like he thought that there were like guardrails around the whole institute, and he found out there are none. Yeah.
Fuck around.
Yeah,
Find out.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on this scene, I have a question for Pierce. So if he could come onto the podcast and
Yeah.
answer this question, their sigils, they're on their hands, correct?
They're on the side of their wrists, right?
Yeah, is it?
Oh, you mean Institute sigils?
No, the
No,
actual
the-
like color sigil.
Yeah.
I thought it was on the back of their hand.
That's
I
what I
thought it
thought.
was-
here.
I thought it was the back too. The way they were describing what's her name?
This is always our downfall, Liz.
I know. Evie? No, not
Is
Evie. The other gold or the other red, the lady, the beautiful on one side.
Oh, Harmony.
Harmony. Yeah. I thought they described it as being like on the back of her hand. And that's how I just imagined all of them were. Like their golds, like their sigils.
I think I've definitely seen fan art to that effect, but that's fan art. Who knows?
Fan
So,
art, yeah.
If I'm operating with the assumption that they're on the back of the hand here, right? With that assumption, I'm asking, is the symbolism there intentional? Stabbing him in the back of the hand where his sigil would be, and pounding it in 5 times, and then getting him to cut off his own hand and cut off his sigil. Is that intentional symbolism, or
Thank
just
goodness Nick is on the
'cause
podcast.
I know.
I-
You elevate us.
He
to
does
a
elevate
place.
us.
Honestly, yeah.
But the question is, that might not be an intentional symbolism because it's a really great plot point that he cuts off his own hand, symbol or not.
And it's a very like it's sort of an iconic
Yeah.
adventure series thing. Stabbed through the hand. Like it's just like a
Mhm, yeah.
very, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
and,
I love it. I
Every
love to
every
think
good
about it.
fantasy sci-fi has to have a handless guy.
That's so true.
That's a good point.
Yeah. We didn't take
That's a
that
good
into
point.
account.
All right. My favorite part of the book,
Okay.
of this part, is his squad, his army is sitting around a campfire. And
Oh,
Apollo
yeah.
comes down and starts a
Oh,
jam
yeah.
field. And then everybody starts soliloquizing, you know? And Darrow's like, they have this great quote where just prior to this, I think Darrow asks Severo, how fast can you run 2 kilometers?
Oh my God! Yes.
Yeah, right.
And then he gets up and
before
he's like, "I
too.
gotta go take a piss in the
Yeah,
woods."
yeah, and he's got to go pee. And they let him go. And then after Darrow's big quote about how awful the Proctors have been, he turns to Mustang and he's like, "Do you know my favorite thing about a jam field?" And Mustang's like, "It keeps sound in," you know. And then they turn it off and we hear the howling and we have this like, it's just that is so easy to
'Cause
imagine.
he's also like,
It's so
"Tell me
cinematic.
again, how fast
This
did
is
Severo
so-
say he could run?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, how far is House Apollo from here? And
Mhm.
she's like,
It's just
"Oh."
the crescendo, right?
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
all of this
It's
building,
so
and then
good.
it's the pop that comes with the jam field popping.
Yeah, I love that moment. That
And then
feels so
yeah.
like, you know, what has Darrow been trying to create?
hmm
Like a community effectively. And that's, I think, where we
That's-
see it the most.
It's a good
Yeah.
teamwork
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good call out for sure.
Yeah. I do appreciate Pax always yelling his name during fights. That happened
Me
a bunch in
Me
this
too.
part. So I was like, oh, Pax out, Salamanas.
Yeah.
Great. I will say,
I-
listening to the. Yeah. I was just going to say, listening to the audiobook is so good. And that, like,
It is.
reading the book, you can imagine it, you can picture it well. But the audiobook, the guy that does it, just
Tim
gets
Gerard
you so.
Reynolds. Come on to the
He gets you just like so into it, and you're like so excited, and you just like cannot wait for like as it's happening. Yeah. So all of
Yeah, I
these.
did listen to this part, I think, completely. I don't think I read
Oh,
it at all
nice.
this time. And I did enjoy it. And I enjoyed the
Mhm.
little song at the end.
Oh,
My-
They do the
my
reaping
love,
song
Oh
my
yeah.
love.
at the end. It's very nice.
It is nice.
Nice.
New ringtone?
Oh boy.
Man, there was something I was going to talk about that's just totally gone from my memory now. But it's in this part somewhere. I don't know. There's so much that happens that because it snowballs so quickly, you can easily just blow right past.
Yeah.
And it's like actually one thing right into the next. Oh, that was it. So we know Pierce loves to throw in a good pop culture reference, right? There's the infamous "Bye, Felicia."
I haven't been on Pop Culture Watch. I meant to do that this book.
Yeah,
That's another
but
good one.
I fully believe that Paxal Telemanis is like the Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
Who's
true.
Leroy Jenkins.
This is a deep cut. We should
yeah,
probably
that's
mark
like
this.
that is an old meme for
Back
sure.
when World of Warcraft was huge, there's an incredible video of these guys online playing together, about to prepare and talking through what they're going to do as they run into a dungeon. And Leroy Jenkins gets tired of listening to them prepare and just runs straight in and shouts
his
his
own name.
Leroy!
Oh. Okay.
And everybody dies. That's it's just this hilarious, yeah, but very much like a Pax Telemanis.
Yeah.
Pax
Okay.
Telemanis. Taking series.
Mhm.
Series.
House
Is that the one
series.
they do with the giant tree?
Giant, yeah, they have to.
Okay.
They use Pax to
Mhm.
hold the log up against the side of the wall, and then they like
Yeah.
throw. Who's the horse-faced girl? That's how she's described. I know, but
I don't remember.
Does it start with an
Uh,
M? Yeah, I can't
think it
remember the
might.
name.
Milk.
Milia?
Oh, that's the opera
Millie.
girl.
Milia.
We were asking.
That's right.
We were asking that last time. We're like,
Oh,
who's
yeah,
the opera?
who's the opera?
That's because it was in part 4, and it was her.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Milia goes over, Mustang goes over, Darrow goes over, and then they take over Ceres. And then right after that, we have the tough moment for Darrow where Tactus, fucking
Yeah.
Tactus, not Titus, Tactus, attempts to attempts to rape one of the Ceres.
Doesn't really work if you do it
students.
after.
Yeah, saying a trigger warning after.
I'm marking this part.
Reverse warning.
Yeah.
We just said something triggering.
And Mustang comes and talks to Darrow and is like, hey, you have a pretty big moment here to show
Yeah,
us
that's
how you deal
so
with
fascinating. What does he do, Craig? Tell the crowd. What does he do?
this. He whips Tactus, and then in this moment right after, very dramatic, Darrow shoves the whip into Tactus's hands and says, why don't you just whip me? You know, and then makes a big hullabaloo about it. Tactus tries whipping him. He takes it away, gives it to Pax. Pax whips Darrow until
And,
his
like,
back
cries
is
the whole
chewed.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Pax is crying. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
one.
You mentioned something there that I had actually forgotten about, and it was the whole him trying to give the whip to Tactus first and being like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
if you do this to my people, you do it to me. So come on,
Right.
whip me.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
I feel
do
like
like-
that's a great part of it. Yeah, go ahead.
No, so I'm just like interrupting everybody today. Today's like but I do like that he also like clarified, like he asked Nyla or Neela, the girl, in front of everybody because she had said she didn't want anything
That's
to
right.
happen to Tactus, and he asked her again in front of everybody so that it didn't create like because like that was like Darrow, I think, thinking as a leader and like foreseeing what could happen had he not just verified with her that like she didn't want anything to happen. He's doing this as the leader of the crew to like dole out this punishment. But I thought that was good.
The punishment was a little light on
I'll agree.
Tactus.
Yeah.
And I did think asking her was a little like what, this is so not the same, I'm not equating them, but like once in high school, some girl I was in a group project with plagiarized the whole project. The night before, I didn't have anything to do about it. So I went to my teacher, I'm like, listen, I want to redo this. But she plagiarized the whole thing, and I am in a tough spot. And he was just like, well, what do you think I should do with her? And I'm like, I don't know, bitch. Like, that's not my job. Like, and I feel like this is similar. It's like, what do you mean? What
Yeah.
do I want done? Like, I'm the victim. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Very different. But like, what is she supposed to say? Like, now she has to weigh like the piece of the rest of the group with like her sense of safety. Like, I thought that was
Mhm.
tough. However, what I did like was how long we spent talking about whether he did make the right decision or the wrong decision, or if he had a decision when it came to Titus. And this was definitely a like out of the box decision. Like this.
Oh, we're talking
required
about
a
Darrow
lot
now, not your
more-
teacher.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, not my
Sorry.
teacher.
I was like, wait, you spent all this time talking with your teacher about whether or not he made the right
You
decision?
spent a lot of time with your teacher, Sam?
No.
Oh.
No, Darrow, we were like, what did he do with the whole Cassius thing? And it was like his downfall, blah, blah, blah. This he put a lot more critical thinking into.
Yeah.
And he came up with a more creative solution and
Mhm.
one that like obviously paid off in a good way. So that's nice to see him like learn.
Yeah.
And I think he even
And-
mentions that. He's like, I'm learning.
Yeah, because it's also I think we're told this, and I actually do believe it, that it's a trickier situation than Titus. Like Titus, you knew what had to happen. Tactus, I agree. I think Tactus always gets off light, and I think Tactus has always gotten off light his entire life, and he continues to get off light all the way until he fucks up against.
Spoiler.
It's the second book. We're good.
No.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, it's
all right.
important.
Something
He gets
happens
off-
in book 2.
he
Nick
is
is
the
stumped.
okay. Practice is like the definition of privileged. Every single time he
Totally.
does something wrong, he gets off light. And I think even here he gets off light. And it keeps happening all the way up until the second book. He screws things up multiple times, and it's only when he crosses Lorne that it's like, oh, you're done. And I feel like that is such a good character. And at the same time, I still don't know what Darrow saw in him ever.
That's what I agree. I'm like, I kind of would love him minimum shunned from the group. Like, take
Yeah.
the connectivity away from him for what he
Mhm.
did.
He's too dangerous, right?
Mhm.
But is he?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
he's
think
psychotic.
Yeah.
he's like one of the
He's
best
psychotic.
fighters, right?
But at this
He-
point, Darrow has to be like, I don't remember where we're at in the story. But I think at this point, Darrow has to know he's going to be taking on Olympus. Are you really worried about Tactus?
No, Dara didn't know that.
Really?
'Cause I
Not
feel
yet?
like
knew that.
Olympus was sort of more of a it seemed more like a rash decision in the moment when Apollo tells him, "Oh, we have Mustang." But I do think
That's
had
right.
Dara known that Mustang was the arch-governor's daughter, would he have still taken Olympus? I don't know. But
That's a
sorry,
great
not to-
question.
but yeah.
And I also am curious if this was actually something I wanted to talk about at some point. So thank you. Darrow is the narrator. Is he an unreliable narrator?
Yeah.
I don't
Right.
think
I would
so.
think
From his
so.
point of
Why?
view.
And the reason I think this comes up here is, was it a rash decision to storm Olympus, or had he been planning it and we never saw it because he's an unreliable narrator?
You know what? Talking about elevating, Catcher in the Rye. Anybody remember?
Never
Yeah,
heard
Catcher
of
in
it.
the Rye.
That
Yeah,
is the
love that one.
definition of an unreliable narrator, right? We don't
I
know.
would love to have a deeper conversation about this after I review the definition of unreliable narrator. Can we
That's
please
fair.
come back to this and put a
Mhm.
pin in it? I mean, we could even have its own episode on this topic, I feel. Because I really
Yes.
want to discuss, but I
And-
feel ill-equipped. It's been too
And
long.
in fact, are they living in the same reality as the people that they're describing?
Can you trust what they're telling you?
Yeah,
well,
but
we know not everything because he doesn't tell us the plan to fully take over Jupiter, right? Like he has them remove their rings
Mm-hmm.
and they have an off-screen discussion. So we don't know the plan until we're finding out as the proctors, right? Like when Apollo like takes down the takes down the airfield, but they didn't like talk about it and like ad nauseum in person with us. It was sort
So-
of like behind the
Oh, I
scenes.
see what you mean.
So, second trilogy, spoiler warning here. It's light, but spoiler warning.
Mark it.
I
This
marked
is
it.
definitely more of a conversation for when we get there, because
I
I
can
would
hold it then.
I would absolutely say some of the POVs are more reliable than others, in at least Iron Gold. That's as far as I've gotten.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We should
Mhm.
remove this little clip, but I agree. Maybe once we get to multiple POVs, we can talk about
Yeah, because I think we do get. That was where I first started thinking of, is Darrow reliable or not? And so yeah, I think it is more of a question later on in the series as a whole. But I'm curious here, like, what were Darrow's plans and when did he have these ideas? Wait, no, it comes up even before then. Darrow is not a reliable narrator in book 3. As a
That's not-
reader,
I don't think that's true.
the reader, you are led to believe if he were a truly reliable narrator, you
I don't
would.
think
But
Darrow's
is it just like a writing style to keep the readers engaged and in suspense of what is to come? Because if we know everything,
Yeah, true.
then are we as excited? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really
That's
good
why I
point.
feel like I need to like get back to my English 101 just to like
Mhm,
remind myself
mhm.
because like do I find someone reliable who has such a freaking rage problem? Like no. Like I inherently
Yeah.
find that unreliable.
And I think I don't know. I also need to revisit the definition of it, but I
Okay.
think there's a difference between a narrator who doesn't necessarily know something and is learning something.
And is actively
First,
lying, right?
exactly, a
Yeah.
narrator who is actively lying. And in book 3, Darrow actively lies to us, the reader, when he says that his friend is killed.
An unreliable narrator is a character in a story whose credibility is compromised, meaning they may not tell the truth or may distort the facts due to personal bias or motives. This literary device can create tension and intrigue, as readers must question the accuracy of the narrator's account.
Yep.
I don't think this
who
qualifies.
Nope, I do.
2026
Hmm.
who's
I
a,
do.
like isn't any first person story if it's well written tainted by bias?
It's not just, it's the purposeful misdirection by the narrator.
I
don't
didn't
think
take it
so,
as
guys.
unreliable. Yeah, I just took it as writing
He's
style to keep the yeah.
I'm not I love an unreliable narrator. I
Well,
think it is a great writing tactic. And another reason I think he's an unreliable narrator is we are shocked to find out he studied with the Razor. Never once does he mention it. He mentions all this stuff about his time between the Institute and the Academy leading up to that crescendo in book 2. And then suddenly out of nowhere, we find out he trained with the Razor. That, I believe, is a moment where you could say as a narrator he was unreliable.
I think
okay.
this is
I'm
when we're
with
gonna have to
Sam. I'm
revisit.
gonna have to, yeah, because I feel like I have to relook into it. Because I
Sorry, I'm
did
also
not
getting
think that.
way, way lost in the weeds here. My bad, guys.
It's the shadow side of being the close read guy. If that's your role,
Yeah.
that's your
Well, I
role.
also talk out of my ass a lot too, so you gotta
See
like
what sticks.
keep me
Yeah,
in check.
You're an unreliable
Unreliable.
narrator.
Yeah, stay tuned.
I have a question, just a tactical one, where if we can't answer it, if anyone's listening, they're probably going to scream. Darrow sings the entire Reaper song to Mustang. This is before he knew that the rings that they're wearing track them. How is that not a bigger issue
That's true.
than the bloody dam issue?
I'm guessing. Oh, that is a great point because part of what we
So
said
does
earlier.
Mustang.
I
Mustang
yeah,
sings
I
it.
She sing
assumed
all
No,
the
she hums it.
lyrics?
She doesn't know the words.
but she says I
Yeah.
can't remember the words, and he's like, oh, I think because in his did he not say in his planet it was just more
He did give a reason for why he knew the words.
yeah.
And I feel like I remember it being kind of like,
It was loose.
can Mustang really not see through this? Which, Sam, when you brought that up earlier, I was like, oh yeah, she definitely saw through it some way. Now that's a really good point because it's like, okay, everyone who potentially could have seen that, did no one ask more questions?
Right. Seems sus. Anyway.
Yeah.
Thank you. Next topic.
All right. Next topic. Well, I think.
one.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say one little fun throwaway is when Fitchner comes back to check in on the group. Once they are a group, Severo yells out over the ramparts, "Our prodigal I can't say the word prodigal. Our prodigal parent returneth," which is fun foreshadowing that we didn't know at the time was his actual parent. That was before that revelation came to pass.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
a good deep cut, Sam.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the scene where they lock Fitchner in a closet, please?
Darrow.
Go ahead.
I don't, mostly asking because I don't entirely remember it, and I loved
Oh,
it. So
yes.
can someone give us a deep dive into it?
Well, right after Severo shouts that,
Okay.
Fitchner comes in, kind of talks to all of them, and he's like, "I got to talk to you, Darrow." And Darrow's kind of like, "What you can say to me, you can say in front of my men." He's like, "No, no, I gotta talk to you." Actually,
Is this
Yeah.
before or after the confrontation with the jackal?
Before.
Before. Okay. And this, sorry, quick. I want to dive into this, but quick.
Mhm.
This is part of the reason why I'm like, did he have ideas of storming Olympus sooner than we thought? Continue.
Valid.
Well,
Yeah.
Sorry. So that's why,
Okay.
Sam, please
Thoughts?
tell us more of this.
it feels
Um,
like because he took the grav boots, he's been like, in terms of looking
Mhm.
back,
Mhm.
read number 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. It's very clear that he's like experimenting with Fitchner. You know, he gets shocked the first time he touches him, and then the next time he notices, oh, when he touches me, the field is turned off. And
There's the time in the
So-
woods where he shoots the arrow at him.
right,
Right.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And so it feels like he has some idea of he needs the grav boots, but I don't think because of Olympus. I think because of Apollo.
At this point, he
Yeah.
has said in a previous conversation with Fitchner that his goal is to take down Apollo and Jupiter. Lightly, I think we interpret that as kill. I don't know if he says kill explicitly, but like he's cool with it.
So.
No, he thinks they're
Yeah.
going to
But-
leave the game.
After
Yeah,
he
he
takes
wants to
down their
take them out.
houses.
Which, love this double entendre, Pierce. When you say he wants to take down Jupiter and Apollo, house or person?
Oof.
Yeah. Well, he was talking
Oh.
about the people at that time.
Are you
I
sure?
mean, both. Yeah, because Fitchner,
Yeah.
he asked Fitchner, like, wait, who are the people who are standing in my way? Like, and he specifically named those two people.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, okay. So, like, if I take out those two, then the path to the jackal is clean and then I can win. And Fitchner's like, no. Like, you're supposed to lie low. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
time passes. This is a different conversation with Fitchner. And I think it's just so freaking fascinating because Fitchner seems genuinely concerned. And he says, like, overtly because his son could get killed or injured. Like, he's worried about his son. I wondered if he was more worried about his investment or his child. Like, I don't
made that
know.
note
Like, what
too.
is it? This is where he does say, like, I'm Severo's dad, or they have that revelation.
Yeah.
And so that just, let's discuss, like, I'm just like so interested in what Fitchner was. I feel like it was paternal. By the end, I was like, I found it so interesting that Fitchner's little like puppet was going off script in a way that, like, why wouldn't Fitchner be excited about this? I guess because it's too rogue, like it has too much potential to blow up
Mhm.
in his face and
Mhm.
just get him killed, and he's invested a lot in this kid. I don't know. What do we think?
I mean, also, he's already seen one of his investments blow up in
Yep.
Right.
very recent memory. So that's a good point.
And he
I-
legitimately loves his son, which he tries actively to hide. So that it could just be he loves his son. I don't know which it is.
I thought it was both. I thought it was right, like his concern for Severo, but also his investment in Darrow, right? And I had a thought that like had things evolved and all had lived, like would they all have just kind of been like Dancer in the future for Darrow, right? Like would it have been more people trying to restrain the chaos that they've created, right? Because I think like this warning I felt was a bit of both. Like, okay, like maybe you should kind of like just take the easy path. Like there's more, this is like bigger than all of us and don't be so rash. But yeah, so and I thought that was very like Dancer like.
Yeah, I think there's also is he more is he worried for Severo simply because of the Institute and what's going on, or is he worried for Severo because he knows what Darrow is? Because Fitchner knows what Darrow is, and Severo's getting too close to this thing that Darrow is. And I think that's, like you said, Sam, it's a great paternal moment. And I don't know if we know exactly what worry it is. It's probably all of it, really.
Because I do also feel like he's paternal towards Darrow as well.
A little-
Certainly
yeah.
not to the extent of, but it's in there. It's in the
But we
mix.
definitely see it grow, too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
know. I
Yeah.
don't know if I think it's again from in this book an investment perspective, right? He
Mhm.
says, I think he says out loud, Lauren would take you at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
like you've done enough.
Mhm.
And Dara's like, I'm gonna show
Burn
them.
it to the ground.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
All right.
anyway.
So we got to do
Okay.
our rating.
Oh yeah, rating
Oh,
part
yes.
4.
Do
I
we
wish
so
we had
can-
like what did we rate part 1, part 2, I forget. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
part
never
1
gonna
was
know.
like a 2, right?
No,
I
it
thi-
was.
I rated it higher, but maybe the average was a 2. I don't know.
Anyway.
This comes back to, again, how do you rate the worst book of great series?
Right.
But I think all of that's kind of irrelevant. I think part 4 is a 5.
Yeah,
I
and
think
That
have,
was really good.
Yeah.
I have
If-
more topics that I want to discuss that we can put in more of a grab bag type. Like, we don't necessarily have to
Yeah.
discuss them as a part of part 4, but I have more juicy questions in here. So we'll have
Oh,
to
I love it.
cover those elsewhere. Plus, I have Narrow Watch, but we can go around and do all 4, and then I can do Narrow Watch if people
Yeah.
have to jump.
No. Let's start with Narrow Watch.
Yeah.
Well, do we have...
I have to
Uh-huh.
jump at 9.
I think yeah.
Yeah, so let's do all a round
Okay.
robin here on our... And then I'll do Narrow Watch. Not everybody has to be
Okay.
around for that.
Nick gave a 5. I'm gonna give
Out of 4? Isn't it out of 4?
No.
I thought it was out of
Oh, it's out of 5?
It's out of
Okay.
5.
5 out of 5.
Okay.
I again because things get so much better. I think this is a 4 for me.
I give it a 4. I think I would have liked it a little more had I read it. I had some hard time focusing as I was listening.
That's fair.
That's fair. I give it a 4.5 because I think it's just so I think I gave the last section a 4.5. So then maybe this one a 5 because I just thought it was so good. So much happens. It's like it's the start of a musical and the end. Like it's just great.
Mm.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Cool. Well,
All
I'm
right.
going to move on to Narrow Watch.
I got to jump.
Yeah.
Narrow watch.
We'll
Thanks,
see
Narrow
all.
watch. See ya.
Bye. Okay, so as Liz mentioned, Narrow is all over this part. I honestly
So
think he was
many.
Is he
mentioned
really? I don't remember that.
more
Yeah,
in
he's
this
mentioned
part
a
than
bunch.
the other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one part, and we'll get to it. He mentions him like twice within like 2 paragraphs of each other.
Yeah.
So he gets, first of all, the opening line on the part. So you know how they have the little like what would you even call those? The little quotes opening the part
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? What would you call that? I've searched for that for a long time. But
There's a
anyway,
name.
narrow
There is a name for
Section
it.
quest.
Yeah,
I
a
don't know
little
what the
section
name is,
quote.
but yeah.
Is that an epigraph? Continue. I'll see if I can find the name for it.
Yeah.
So it's the one. It's here. I can show a picture,
Yeah,
but I
Mhm.
can't.
I would call that the epigraph.
Like,
Okay.
In
Nice.
literature, an epigraph is a phrase, quotation, or poem that is said at the beginning of a document, monograph, or section or chapter
Oh,
thereof. It's an epigraph.
Epigraph.
Perfect.
That's exactly
Epigraph.
what it is.
Mhm.
Thank you. So this is where they say the elder women of Lycos say when a man's bitten by a pit viper,
Mhm.
the poison has to be drawn out of the bite. When I was bitten, Uncle Narrow left some in on purpose, which is something that has been mentioned before, but that was the opening
Ooh.
to the chapter.
I didn't
Yeah.
realize that was the opening to this part either. That's a really
Yeah.
great opening for this part.
Yeah. Because he's actively dying.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like
Again.
this guy's hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Uncle Narrow is the one, you know, in the myth of
I do have a
Darrow.
question about that though, because when he brought this up earlier, wasn't it not Dancer, but who was his other trainer that said that's false, right?
It was
Harmony?
Mickey, who was like,
Oh,
that's
Mickey.
not a
Yeah.
real thing.
Right, okay. But it keeps coming up. So I'm like, okay, like does
It's
he
like
just still
peeing
keep
on a jellyfish
believing?
sting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I use the word myth on purpose. I think that like that's where the like this is all about Darrow as like a mythical guy, even to himself, to like keep himself
Yeah.
going, maybe.
Right. That's
But he's also mentioned when Darrow talks to Fitchner, he these are my notes, and some of them are direct quotes. This is a bad way to take notes. I don't know what's quote and what's not. He smiles sincerely. Okay, Darrow has a sincere smile when he looks at Fitchner. He's like, Fitchner looks old and tired, and he's frustrated with him. But then he smiles sincerely and mentions that Fitchner reminds him of his uncle, afraid to change. So he sort of is like, "Aw, cute Fitchner." But also
yeah.
at the same time, he's pitting like these two parental figures next to each other in his mind. So I think that's significant. There's a sort of awkward point in chapter 40. He feels a little glow, Darrow, of happiness because he knows that Mustang is going to sleep with him that night. Like, literally sleep.
Yeah, like share a bed.
Yeah, share a bed. It's so cute. And he's like,
It is cute.
but he says they'll both snore as heavily as Uncle Narrow on Yuletide. And then literally like 4 sentences later, this is when he's kind of duping Apollo and they all duping the jackal. And they're
Jackal.
all
Mhm.
drinking grape juice
Fake
and
drunk.
pretend to get
Yeah.
drunk. Yeah. He says that all of his men are sleeping all drunk as Uncle Narrow on Yuletide. Like he uses like
Again.
the same comparison so close together, which I'm like, is
Yeah.
that supposed to be like mirroring, like, or is it just a mistake? Like he put it in there twice. I
Right.
wasn't sure because it didn't have like a very strong emotional effect, but
Yeah.
that's 2 Narrow
Uncle
mentions
Narrow
right
was
there
on his brain, yeah.
on his brain. And then finally, at the end of chapter 43, before he confronts Cassius, he says, "Time to drop." This is a direct quote. Quote, "Time to drop my balls," as Uncle Narrow used to say. So this is when he's like, "I'm really fucking scared to go talk to Cassius in the throne room. I'm gonna go do
Yeah.
it." Uncle Narrow
Yeah.
would tell me to
You know,
drop my balls.
I'm really thinking we might need a part 4, part 2, because we did not at all talk about that discussion between Cassius and
Yeah.
Taro, which is important, right? Because one, it's the blood feud. I think that briefly got mentioned, but 2, it's also Cassius just being like, "Well, you won."
Yeah, right. Like he just like gave him
Yeah.
so easily. Like I'm not gonna duel you again.
Right? And I
Yeah.
feel like we definitely need a little bit more discussion about the character development of Cassius there and what we're learning
Yeah.
about.
I'm not mad at it, but there are quite a few points at the end of this
Mhm.
part where things just kind of tie up like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
With the he never like confronts the jackal. Like that doesn't happen at
No.
all. It makes me wonder if like there was a longer version of this that because this was the first in a series, they just edited down so that it was more palatable or marketable. Because
And I
it's
guess-
weird a little bit.
I think
I-
it might be intentional.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I think they knew like they had bigger plans for the jackal, right? And if Darrow were to confront him, we would not accept anything less than just like killing him because what would be
And
the point?
I
Yeah, and we have
feel
the moment. We need that moment with Mustang to show like what side she's on. Yeah, I'm not mad at any of it. It's just like a
Mhm.
few of them. Like Cassius just
Too
walks out.
quickly tie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, that was easy. Did you really need to drop your balls for that?
Right.
But, back to the jackal real quick. I feel like that might be intentional because I feel like, I could be wrong on this, but throughout the entire series, he never really ultimately confronts the jackal. It's someone else. Um, if I remember correctly. I mean, end of book 2, he never does. And then in book 3, they're
That's
focused
true. They
on
just fight
Octavia.
and yeah.
And so I'm interested to watch. We'll have a jackal watch too,
Yeah,
and
jackal watch.
see if there's any actual confrontation between. Like, there's the
Yeah,
mini confrontation, like the chopping off of hands and stuff. But the ultimate, like the what are we gonna do about this, falls to someone that's not Darrow. I think usually.
he's definitely an antagonist for sure, obviously.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
Yeah.
he's really not ever the main bad guy. He's always sort of like a
Mm-mm.
side bad guy, pushing plot along, causing a little
Yeah.
fear. Do we just like amplify him because we like his character? Like, what? He's kind of
Maybe.
a side character.
He is a good, like, bad guy, so that's
He
probably
is.
why
He's a
we
good
appreciate him a
villain.
lot.
And
Yeah.
I think that's something Pierce does really well is layering the
I
antagonists.
agree.
Like
Mhm.
they're
Yeah.
all good and they each serve their own purpose. And I think I
Mhm.
don't want to call Jackal a red herring because he's not. He is certainly an antagonist, but it's very much like he said, he's not the main antagonist by any
No.
means.
And he is
Mhm.
very like a fast burn kind of
Hmm.
antagonist where what we're trying to fight is this society which is like so
Bigger.
complicated, so large,
Hmm.
Mhm.
manifests within people but is also a system. It's nice to have a just straight up bad guy. Where it's
And
like
Yeah.
every so often you can just have a bad guy and know unambiguously it's bad and how to fix
Yeah.
it.
I just
Yeah.
had a thought, and I need to explore this a little bit more. But the fact that we come into this book with Nero being essentially the bad guy, right? We come into this book with Nero being the bad guy, and the two children of Nero that we meet are the Jackal and Mustang, completely opposite ends of the spectrum. And there's a little bit of is that both in Nero too? And I think
Right.
it is a bit more of this. It's complicated, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Because
that's what
then,
I
like
wanted to discuss in like a
Hmm.
longer forum was the
We
line where
yeah.
Darrow says golds are the by definition the best of what we of
Hmm.
humanity. They're also the worst.
Yeah.
And I
mhm.
thought that was so interesting and I wanted to unpack that with the group.
And straight in your face, the Jackal and Mustang.
Right, like it's
Yeah.
right
Yeah,
there.
because
But
I
that
don't
also is,
even.
like, right, nature versus nurture, because like,
Mhm.
the way that they grew up
Yep.
is so different.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Great point. I will love any shout out to the Telemanaces. I think they're
Yeah.
Yeah.
amazing.
And as an extension, another like macro topic I thought would be great to discuss is how Mustang is the current manifestation of Eo's dream, which he says before, like Mustang's vision is Eo's dream. And that's another juicy
Yeah.
topic that like we did not
Oh,
get to
that
today.
is a yeah. We
There's a
need.
lot that happened
We're
in this
definitely
section.
going to need another
Yeah,
part
there was a
here.
lot of plot, but all of my notes were less about plot and more about theme. And I think maybe that's what we can talk
Mhm.
about next
Mhm,
time are like the more overarching themes. Eo's dream,
mhm.
is
Mhm.
humanity good or bad? That's
Yeah.
But like,
stuff like that. Little questions.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the idea of the quote you mentioned about gold being the best and the worst, I do think that is really in your face with the Jackal and Mustang because I'm thinking more. I'm like, is there anything bad about Mustang? Like, I know she can't be perfect, but she's
Yeah.
pretty great.
She's pretty perfect.
Yeah,
She's
she's
pretty damn
pretty
Right?
perfect.
close.
Yeah, I don't
Like,
think
Yeah.
so far we've not seen it. I don't think anything that has, like, been bad. She's
right?
just
We're getting to the end here.
That's the other thing I wanted to discuss, the theme of family.
Yep. Yep.
Because
mhm.
Darrow, at some point, I wrote like he's really overestimating the amount of stock Gold's put into family because he's
Yes.
coming from well, I
Mm.
changed my mind too, Nick. Give me a second. I'm getting there.
Okay.
He comes from a lens of like a red, and
Hmm.
they have family bonds that are legitimately strong and deep ties. And so he's like really caught up in like these family things. So then I read a little more and I'm like, I actually delete that from my phone note because then I get
Mhm.
to Cassius and Julian and that kind of like family tie. But then I bring it back into my notes when we get to the final scene where they're all like sitting around like post institute, whatever, talking about
Waiting for the bus to go home.
Yeah, waiting for the bus. whatever that is, where all the characters are on the stage. And there's a note about how, like, Darrow talks about how these Reds play at being in a family. It's all ego, it's all superficial. They use family like a chess game pawn thing. It's not real family. That's what I had like back in Lycos. So now you may continue. Anyway, I think it's a juicy topic. Go
No,
ahead.
I think that's a juicy topic. I take back my skepticism of you saying saying that Darrow underestimates or overestimates family. I think you're right. And I think, once again, I will take every moment I possibly can to shout out the Telemanises for being awesome. Because that my was about the Telemanises, because they are, like, they do embody great family.
And I thought the same thing of Cassius. Like, so my first drawback with Cassius and Julian. And then I was like, actually, wait. Let's look at those. Look at the Teleman. Like, that is the thing.
Different.
Right?
That's
That's
different.
the thing that is, like, different, that they have in common, that allows them. It's because their familial ties mean more to them than the Golds do.
The Telemanises are the healthy family. The Bellonas are the family that says they're healthy.
Yeah, but then I do think,
the
like,
Almoons too. Like, if we think of Octavia and
true.
Alcide,
oh my God.
Oh man.
Yes.
Okay, I love this family
That's a
dynamic
reality
discussion.
show right there.
Oh my God.
Keeping up with the Alloons.
Insane.
What was the name of the creepy little kid in Game of Thrones?
Oh,
you are gonna have to be more specific.
With the moon door. With the moon door.
Yeah. Elise, his mom, the kid who, like, was still on the tip. No,
Yeah.
Oh,
was it not Little Robert? Was he not a Little Robert?
I don't maybe
remember.
But either way, I remember the first time we meet. The first time we meet Lysander, he's exactly who I thought of, and it was just like,
really?
Oh yeah, right. And then the more
Robin,
we meet Lysander, it's a mix of him and Joffrey.
Yeah.
Maybe not Joffrey. He's a little bit less. At least from what I've seen of him, he's less.
Joffrey to me is a little Jackal. Jackal
yes.
and Joffrey.
Yeah, you're right.
That's very true.
Because they're both maniacs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love this family discussion. I will absolutely.
Yeah, I want to talk more about
family.
et cetera, et cetera. But there's
we're
so
gonna
much.
need some episodes just on general themes of book 1 2. We
I
can't
think
end
so.
here. I think we had discussed that at the beginning, that we were gonna need some additional episodes more than just the parts.
Yeah.
Anything else pressing though for the one we're on before we?
I mean, I feel like like we said earlier, there are a few parts that I don't think we touched on enough. That Cassius part, honestly, the scene with Nero, it's the first time we get an interaction between Darrow and Nero. But I feel like we should probably take a pause and discuss them when we get Craig back, because I feel like he's probably got some. So, like, we can kind of stitch this one together like we did. What was it, part 3?
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be the best move here. Yeah, a previous episode. I feel like it might be best for us to just stop it here and say we have other things. I do think there's some stuff we need to go back.
We can do a follow-on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, lovely to chat. We'll talk next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you to everyone for coming on this journey with us. We hope you've enjoyed our discussions of Red Rising, and that we've done enough to convince you, Pierce Brown, why it's an excellent idea to join us on the podcast. We will be back soon to discuss Golden Sun and the rest of the series, so stay tuned. In the meantime, if you would like to give us feedback on the show or join in the discussion, please let us know at thehowlerbookclub@gmail.com and/or follow us on Instagram @Red Rising Book Club.